Offering only the finest in PC enthusiast apparel. Awesome Sauce shirts are not only threaded, they're hyper-threaded and come factory overclocked. Get yours today at the Awesome Sauce store. What's up, guys? It's time for another computer build here on Awesome Sauce Network. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be building a system that's optimized purely for silence. And a little bit for looks. This is the Silent Night build. I've already named it, and I haven't even built it yet. That's called planning. Yeah. That doesn't happen often here on Awesome Sauce Network, but what we're essentially building today is a Christmas-themed computer that is really tailored for low noise and optimized for silence. So, let's go ahead and start off with the case, shall we, since I'll get the big one out of the way first. Now, this is the Silent Base 600 from Be Quiet. You guys might remember my Silent Base 800 review that I did maybe like 8 or 9 months ago. It's been a while since I reviewed that case. This is Be Quiet's follow-up to that one. It's a little bit smaller, and it's actually, it does have a lot of the same features in a smaller footprint, smaller profile all around. It is a mid-tower. It does have a side panel window, but there is sound dampening material on the opposite side. I should mention this case also does come with a solid panel option that does have that sound dampening material on the inside, so you can get even probably better acoustics that way, but honestly, I think it's going to be pretty minimal to the naked ear, as they don't say. Let me go ahead and flip this case around really quick so you can see the front of it. So on the front of the case, it's pretty minimalistic, which I actually like a lot. You get two USB 3.0 at the top there, the top/front, diagonally mounted there with the other I/O, and it's kind of like a flat matte black, whatchamacallit, brushed aluminum finish, even though it is made of plastic, and it's essentially enclosed at the front, but it's got, you can see it's got ventilation strips all running down either side of it right there at the front as well, so you do get ventilation, you get some healthy airflow in there, but this is also going to help minimize the acoustic levels in this case, which is one of the many things that makes it so silent. You can also see there's some fans in there. It comes equipped with one rear and one front Pure Wings 2 fan, I believe. They're both 120 mil, and they do a really good job. I've tested these fans before personally, and they're super quiet. They do a good job. They move a lot of air, and those are pretty much the only two case fans we're going to be dealing with. So altogether, this is a good step in the right direction in terms of making this a quiet little system. Moving on to our motherboard of choice, we've got the MSI Z170A Gaming Pro. Now, obviously, motherboards don't really make noise. If they do, if yours makes noise, then send it back or get a new one. That's not supposed to happen. So it really didn't matter too much on the acoustics front which motherboard we went with, but I happened to pick the Z170A Gaming Pro just because it's a newish board. It's on the new Z170A chipset. As you can see, we're going Skylake. Now, this is slightly cheaper than the Z170A Gaming M5, which is also from MSI, but it packs a lot of the same features. You get Crossfire and SOI support, and it's got an M.2 slot. I believe you lose one turbo M.2 slot from this board, but most of us are only going to use one, if any, anyway. And then you've also got a really nice, you know, keeping with that black and red theme, so you can see we're going with that Christmas direction so far. But we also have this weird yellow strip, which at first you're like, oh, well, that doesn't really match, and that kind of looks a little awkward next to the red. But it's actually, there's RGBs in the PCB here, RGB LEDs, which you can configure to pretty much light up any color you want, as the RGB spectrum usually offers. So you can see here, it's blue on the back here, so I can only assume that this can really be any color we want, whether it's red or green, to match our Christmas theme. And obviously, like I said, this should be quiet in the system. Moving on to our, I guess I should move on to this guy next. This is a 6600K Core i5 Skylake. Yeah, you're old news by now, buddy. Now, this is a really good chip. As you can see, this is a gaming system. I should probably mention that at the beginning of the video. This is a mid-range gaming system, but quite a capable little system. That's going to be a nice little overclockable chip that we can use, I should say. And then we've also got 16 gigs of DDR4 memory. This is the Trident Z. I did a really brief video a couple weeks back on this this particular kit. It is from G-Skill. Let's see what speed it is. I can't remember exactly what the speed is. 3,000 megatransfers per second, which is pretty stinking fast, even for DDR4 standards. Beautiful sticks. This is honestly pretty overkill for a system like this. These are not the cheapest sticks in the world. You could definitely go for something a little bit more budget-oriented, but at the same time, they do match the motherboard quite nicely, and I just happen to have them on hand, so they're getting put into this rig here. Next up, we've got this power supply from Enermax. Now, they are known for having some of the best fanless power supplies around. This is their DigiFanless 550 watt, which is going to be more than enough to drive our video card. More on that later. This is a fanless unit, and it's completely silent, doesn't make any noise, just relies on heat sinks and other kind of fancy technology that Enermax has probably patented to really keep thermals down to a minimum, but most importantly, acoustics. And this also does come with really cool, a really cool monitoring software. I forget what it's called, but that's supposed to just be for monitoring real-time current output, as well as voltages, temperatures, things like that. And you can also configure a lot of that stuff as well in the program. So really cool stuff there. Also, it comes with fully sleeved black cables, which is a nice addition, especially if you're gonna be rocking a side panel window in your case and you don't want any ketchup and mustard business going on in there. We talk a lot about that on Pimp My PC. So overall, this is a really cool unit. I've never built with one of these before, but I've seen them in tons of builds and at trade shows and things like that, so I'm really excited to use it. So moving on to our video card of choice, again, going with MSI. This just seemed to make sense for me because we've got, you know, MSI board, all red and black, and they make some really nice looking red and black video cards as well. So we've got their gaming 4G, GTX 960, 4G meaning 4 gigs of GDDR5, that's right. This is their OC edition, PCIe 3 of course. So this is a really sweet card, and also like many GTX 960s, they do allow the fans to ramp down to 0 RPM anytime the card's at idle. So again, looking for that optimization in acoustics here. This is going to be a really nice card, and you'll get to see it a bit more once we start the build itself. And then let's go ahead and move on to our drives. Now you can see I've got two SSDs here, the Plextor M5 Pro, which is a great drive. I've used this for years, so this is an older drive. These are both, you know, kind of, they've been in my inventory for a while. I'm just happening to use them here. And then the ADATA SX900, 512 gig. Did I say that this was 256 gig? I don't know if I mentioned that. But both SATA 3 drives, I used this in my last system, the black and red X99 build before Hotline back there. I used this as my scratch disk for editing. It was fantastic. Like I said, I've had this has gotten a lot of use as well, but you can see, no mechanical hard drives here. So again, we're going with a non-moving solution for our storage, and this is going to be, again, completely silent. So I'm really happy to be installing these two guys. And finally, we've got this little beauty here from Thermalright. It's their Macho Zero. Now this might not be a very popular cooler, but it has gotten a lot of rave reviews from folks like Anantech and Tom's Hardware and things like that. But this is a passive cooler. You can see there's no fan here. Semi-passive, I should say. So it doesn't come with a fan, it's completely passive, but it says semi-passive. So essentially what they're referring to there is this essentially relies on the airflow going on within your case. So case airflow, the fins are actually separated a bit wider to prevent less airflow impedance. So that way the airflow that's naturally flowing throughout your case, if you've built it properly and you actually do have, you know, positive air pressure and good airflow going through, it will actually dissipate the heat effectively through the fin stack that we have here. It's a massive cooler. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is going to be 100% silent because there is no fan. It's just the body itself of the heatsink. So also first time building with this guy, curious to see what the thermal temperatures will be, the performance, and we are going to be installing Windows 8.1 on this guy, so I'm going to be doing some testing as well as you know, testing for like acoustics and temperatures and whatnot. So wow, I've rambled on for way too long looking at this recording here, so I'm gonna shut up. I'm so sorry, I almost forgot something. I forgot this little guy here. This is really what makes the Christmas magic, y'all. This is a green LED strip. This is one of the Alchemy 2.0 magnetic strips from Bitphoenix. These are super handy, especially in a case like this, made of steel, where you can actually stick the magnets will work and whatnot. So yeah, it's not going to be really Christmassy if it's just red and maybe a little strip of green here on the edge of the motherboard. So we're going to amp it up a little bit more, get into the Christmas spirit, y'all, with a little bit more festivity with the help of this green LED. So that's pretty much it. Let's build this thing. Alright, you crazy party animals, the build is complete. Yeah, it's Christmassy. It's pretty Christmassy. Granted, the green on the LED, oh, by the way, I'm wearing one of the gloves that came with my CPU cooler, the Macho Zero. Also, it came with this awesome screwdriver. I posted this on Instagram. Thermalright, you guys are the best. Magnetic tip, hey. Super long, hey. Love it. And I don't know why I'm wearing the glove still. I'm only wearing one, see? So I'm kind of doing a Michael Jackson here. And these are small gloves, though, I will admit. But, damn, this is a pretty sexy build. It's very, thematic, I should say. The red and green is playing quite nice. Like I said, the green washes out the red on the motherboard a little bit, but really it's the heat sinks on the motherboard. The VRM heat sinks are completely covered by the massive CPU cooler there. Not that I'm complaining, but it does cover up some of the red on the board that you would otherwise see. Apart from that, the video card looks fantastic in here. Hey, good job, MSI. And even the little blinky lights that I thought might have looked a little bit tacky are tastefully placed, and they're not going berserk or whatever. You might be able to configure the pattern. I know you can definitely change the color, but you might be able to change, like, you know, maybe one solid strip of red, maybe have the whole thing breathe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to... Glove's freaking you out, isn't it? But again, about this power supply, I really wanted to point out that this is 80 plus platinum. I didn't mention that before. Look at how beautiful these sleeved cables are that come with the power supply. Yeah, that's how they should all be. But really, the main attraction here is that there's absolutely no noise coming from it, as well as that CPU cooler, both dead silent. And just here, I'll put the camera inside of the computer. You're gonna get a weird perspective here. But just listen. The camera is literally inside. It's resting on the video card right now. Just go ahead and listen to how loud it is in there. Yeah, can you hear anything? Maybe. Probably not. Maybe. But I literally cannot hear anything from where I'm sitting right now. Granted, the system is idling, so stay tuned for part 2, where I actually put a load on this guy and see how loud it gets with those GPU fans ramping up, as well as the case fans. But for the most part, this is pretty damn... I mean, the name Silent Night, it definitely wears it well, because this thing is freaking... silent. It doesn't make a peep, at least for now. So stay tuned for part 2. I don't know if I'm going to run any benchmarks yet. Maybe just do thermals and acoustics. That's really what this is all about. But another few points that I wanted to make about the system. You can see that the CPU cooler is kind of mounted to the side. That's just the design. I could have flipped it, but then I would have covered those beautiful sticks right there, and I kind of wanted to show those off. But here, look at this. The fan is super close. I almost ran out of clearance here with the CPU cooler and the rear exhaust case fan here, because there's just a couple millimeters in between, but it actually kind of works out nicely because you are getting some coverage of airflow, of pull. You're getting some pull airflow coming through this fin stack right here from that exhaust, and that's kind of nice. Even though it's not fully there, it is about more than halfway covered, so I wasn't really expecting that when I was going into the build. Apart from that, I don't know what to say. This build rocks, and you should like this video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what your expectations are for part 2 in this video when I do some testing. But that's gonna pretty much do it for now, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more tech videos coming really soon. Sorry it's really bright. I'll try to turn that down in post. And I'm gonna go get this glove off now, but hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day and week and month and the rest of your life. Man, we're getting deep now. But that's all for now, guys. See y'all in the next video.